In the continuation of the above things, now we are going to see how the sources of funds are classified, because for to run a business the sources of fund is also plays a vital role. Even the features, principles or importance, the factors which affect the funds in choice is also important. First one, the factors which affecting the choice of sources of funds are cost, risk profile, purpose and time period, tax benefits, flexibility and ease, financial strength and stability of operation, form of organization and legal status, effect on credit worthiness. These are the factors which affects on choosing the sources of funds. Mainly, the sources of funds are classified into three main functions or a basis called period, ownership and the sources of generation. In that we going to see the major and brief things of these three classifications. First one, on the basis of period, it is again divided into three ways, like long term, medium term and short term business. Like in long term, we have some more subdivisions like that, in which basis the sources are being getting for the business. First one is the equity share. Second one is retained earnings. Third one is preference share. Next one is debentures. The next one is loan from financial institutions, and the next one is loan from the banks. These are some of the sources where we get on a periodic basis. Next, periodic basis in a long term business. Next comes the medium term. In the medium term, the first one is loan from banks. Next is public deposits. The next is loan from financial institution and lease financing. And comes the short term basis of period. In that we have trade credit, factoring, banks and commercial papers. These three are comes under the basis of period, where we can get some of the funds for a business. And comes the main second category is ownership, that is on the basis of ownership. It is again divided into owners fund and borrowed fund. In owners fund, we see equity shares and retained earnings, but in borrowed funds we see debentures, loans from bank, loans from financial institutions, public deposits, lease financing, commercial papers. But you all can have a doubt like that, these also comes under the period basis and it also comes under the ownership, because equity shares are all mainly for the persons who run the business, and the public deposit is also for the earnings which we get from others for our own business. Next comes the basis on the generation, what the source we get for our finance. It comes like internal source and external source. Internal source is from equity share and retained earnings. Again, from the external source we used to get the funds from financial institutions, loan from banks, preference shares, public deposits, debenture, lease financing, commercial papers, trade credits and factorings. These are on the basis of source of generation. Like this is like an example where we get our source of capital. We have n number of things where we can get the source of capital. Let's see one by one. Next one, the source of capital, where we get the source. First, like retained earnings, trade credit, factoring, lease financing, issue of shares, public deposits, commercial paper, debenture, commercial banks and financial institutions. These are the places where we get the source of capital. In the next video, we can see brief of these 10 sources of capital. Thank you.